get out your pens and paper, because this is TGIM. Thank God, goodness, is anyone religious? It's Monday, and we're really pumped. Can you guys hear me? Give me a thumb. Cool. And we're really excited because there's lots of ways you can change people's lives. And one's physically, to improve their health results, especially with what we do as coaches. One's through the community as well, because you start hanging around a whole bunch of positive people. That's a good influence on your life. But for me, the one that takes the cake is the mindset. Before I discovered this business opportunity, I didn't actually know what personal development was. I'd never really worked on myself. I'd never done any type of reading that wasn't like a sports magazine. Like I'd never done any type of stuff that opened up the ideas. You guys logging in, jump on mute. Okay, we'll take control and just do it anyway. I was not doing this stuff. And what happens when you're not working on yourself is the world's this massive place, and you'll see it through that. Because your mind's not actually open to the opportunities that are around, because you don't believe it's possible. That there's so many different reasons why. But trust me, if you're working on yourself, you just start noticing things in a positive light, and then things will just start happening better for yourself. It's really, really important. So that's why we do this workshop on a Monday night, to hopefully give you guys a taste of what you're going to do for the rest of the week when you leave this room. Because the results happen once again different ways, and physically, because we've got a lot of guys from the Glow Lean Transformation Challenge on the call as well. You can eat well here, like in your centres I'm talking about, and on Facebook, and post nice meals and stuff like that. But if you go through the drive-through of Macca's on the way home, it's going to defeat the purpose. And then when you come in here and jump on the scales, you wonder why it doesn't actually reflect, like it's like the silver coating, right? It doesn't actually reflect what you're putting into the car. So that's why we like doing this, because for me, the mindset stuff is what connects all the dots and will help you have consistent results. So it's really, really important. And to open up, I've got one from Zig Ziglar quote here. So you need to plan to build a house, but to build a life, it's even more important. Yeah, because a lot of people, and that reflects obviously the goal setting, because a lot of people just don't have goals. And being in the nature of our business, when people start, we actually ask them to get 20 goals, and it's a struggle for everyone. No one really just sits down and punches out 20 goals, because no one gets asked. They don't actually know what they want, because they have, well, A, they don't have a vehicle to get there, but B, they don't believe it's possible, so they just forget about it. They just do their day-to-day, 9 to 5, 40-year mortgage, all the normal stuff that you hear about. 40-hour work week, that type of stuff. Whereas if you knew what was possible, and you're working on yourself and you have big goals, you understand that once you set the goals, put yourself on mute, guys. Once you set the goals, that's the first step in achieving them. Because if you've got the power to put them onto paper, and you've got the power to actually achieve them. So it's a really, really important step. And that's what TGIM is about tonight. Setting goals and creating your plan. Not just physically. I'm talking about all the avenues. There's different avenues to life and to goal setting. And there's 6 major ones. And I'm going to read them out to you. First one's physical. Second one's mental. Third one's social. Fourth one's spiritual. Fifth one's financial. And the 6th one's family. In no actual order. That's just the way I read them out. Yeah, that's what it was on when I read them out last time, so that's how they come out again. So that's not like in order of importance or anything like that. That's just the 6 areas. So you can do a circle and cut it off into 6 pieces of pie, and they're your 6 areas of major goal setting. So with that being said, why do we set goals in these areas? Or why do we set goals at all? Gives you direction. And that's the first point I wrote down here. So if you don't know where you're going, how can you get there? And in all these aspects, if you don't have a physical goal, well, you're just going to go to the gym and work out 90 minutes really intensely and eat really healthy and clean and knock back all the party food and all the stuff. on the star. Oh, she gave herself a star. Gotcha. If you're doing all this stuff and you've got no actual, like, you're not going to do it if you don't know where you're trying to get. Having goals written down is like a GPS for your life. So when you go somewhere, like for example in Melbourne, and you put in, I don't know, wherever you're going, no idea where you're going if you're not from there, and it directs you. It's the same thing with worthwhile goals. Because most of the time, if they are worthwhile, you won't actually know how to do it because you haven't done it. That's what makes them worthwhile. But you know it's possible because you've seen someone else do it. Does that make sense? So it's really important to, and that's one of the reasons why setting goals is important for me. Second one is progress, because there's different ways to improve definitely your mental health. And one of them is the feeling of success. So I don't know if you guys have ever set a big goal and felt really good when you've knocked off like the first leg. Like for example, in your health goals, just for instance, you might have a big goal of losing 30 kilos and you knock off the first 5. And you're really, really stoked. Yeah, like you're moving towards your goals. So success isn't a destination. Success is like achieving working towards your worthwhile goals. And for me, success more lies in the person you become, because you've set these massive goals, big predetermined, worthwhile, massive goals, and you know it's going to stretch you. And you know once you achieve them, you've had to become a different, better person to be able to do it. And I'm assuming you're setting worthwhile goals where you're not hurting people and all that type of stuff. So you're getting better, not worse. So it's really important to have goals so you can monitor your success as well when they're written down. Once again, if you don't know where you're going, you won't have that feeling of success because you won't have any kind of direction. And number 3, to why we're setting goals, is motivation. Got written down here. Keeps you motivated. You wake up with purpose. Go to bed with purpose. Feeling like you've had a good day. Does anyone have goals big enough that actually get them out of bed in the morning? No alarm clock needed. If you've got kids, you probably don't need one anyway, but everyone can relate here. But if you've got really big goals, that's what will drive you. And for me, motivation is such an important thing because it's an inside job. Like no one can really motivate you. If they do, it's only really short term. It's like a spark to get you moving a little bit. But then at the end of the day, if you're not self-motivated and you don't have the goals written down, long term, you're not going to be able to sustain. And if you guys are trying to lose weight for someone else, you will find this. Like if you can't find a reason why it's important for you, or why you want to be successful, or why you want your family to be happy, or whatever it is, like relating it back to the 6 areas, you can't find that why that kind of gets you up and motivates you, then it's going to be short-lived. And you see people, especially being a Herbalife independent member, have big goals in regards to like their physical transformations, and they do like a month or maybe 2 months and then they stop. Has anyone else had that? I've had it heaps of times. And then 2 months later you see them and they're exactly the same way because they go back to their old habits and all the other stuff. But it's because their why wasn't strong enough. So it's important to have those strong goals backed up by a why, because that's going to motivate you, especially if your goals are long term. So there's different types of goals for me. First kind of category is time. So you've got short term, got mid-term, and you've got long-term. And for me, long-term's like the vision and the dream. So for me, for my business, we're going to help 5,000 people lead a healthy, active lifestyle. That's the long-term goal. And to set mid-terms, the gauge of success, we're going to have 100 people in Adelaide Spectacular. That's the gauge. That's where we're at. If we're below that, we're behind. If we're above that, we're in front. Like for me, that's the gauge. It was 50. And then I just said, you know what, let's have a crack at 100. So we'll set the midterm goal. But short term, this is where the kind of like the magic happens, because they're like little stepping stones between you achieving your goals, and the daily disciplines that you develop will ensure that the long-term goals happen. They're not just going to happen the way you are now. If you're setting goals that, like a minor, like not minor, what's the right word? Too achievable. I don't like it in SMART goals where it's like specific, measurable, and it says achievable or attainable. For me, that they're not big goals, right? Like they're certain goals you can achieve. I don't know, it's a bit sucky. Not having a crack. You don't really have to develop to achieve them. So for me, they should be like massive goals. Big goals. Because then what you'll find is in the short term, you'll find ways to, and I'm talking daily short-term goals, you'll find days to actually move towards the long-term vision and the dream. So for me, one of the ways we do that is, and we talk about it here all the time, is an imperative and important list. So how that looks for your day, you've got your sheet of paper, and you've got imperative, and you've got important. Imperatives is stuff you have to do before midnight. And it might only be 7 things, 8 things. And these are things that are directly linked to your vision, your long-term goal. Whatever areas they are for you in those 6 areas. Yeah? Which will then translate into daily disciplines. You might find that you're doing stuff every day. Like it might be like, do my 30 minutes of personal development. Because the person I am now, I can't actually achieve those long-term goals. And having that moment where you actually realize that. Or could be, I don't know, if your goal's to like lose, like in the challenge, for example, by end of September, you want to lose 7 or 8 kilos. Big goal. And you're like, short term, okay, I have to be really clean with my eating. No junk food, or everyone knows their weaknesses. None of that. Not even tempted. None of it. Or it could be like, I've got to exercise for an hour every day, or I'm going to do CrossFit every day, or whatever it is linked to your goals. They're going to become your daily disciplines in your short term on your imperative. So this is the stuff that you have to do. And then important stuff that doesn't really matter. It matters, but it doesn't really matter, like wash your car, clean the house, or the mum's area, like, yes, doing my imperatives tomorrow. Or whatever it is, all that stuff that doesn't really matter. Like it's not going to matter if it happens. Like don't wake up and do this stuff. Wake up and do the stuff that moves you towards your goals, and then move on to your important list then. Because you'll find that when it's written down as well, and you're crossing all these things off, you'll have that feeling of success, because your brain doesn't actually know the difference between a massive goal and a really small goal in matter of actually achieving. So if you're crossing things off your list, you're affirming that you're successful. If you're affirming you're successful every single day by crossing things off your list, you're going to become successful. It's like a daily affirmation that you just go through religiously, like, however times you put the lines through stuff. And I've seen Mark Revere. He has like the book, right? And he like full on like colors things in, and you can barely see it, and he nearly chews through the paper on the other side and stuff like that. That's how much he gets into it. He's really kind of goal driven, right? So I just put a line through it, but whatever works for you. And you just and you'll notice when you start doing it, you'll feel successful when you cross it off. You go, yeah, I've done that. Look, I'm getting to my list. That's important, because it's important to have long-term vision, and then important to make your short-term daily disciplines marry up to that. Because if you're trying to lose weight and your short-term, like what you're doing daily, will have that ripple effect throughout the rest of the month, rest of the 6 months, rest of the year. And obviously, the whole point of our challenge is not to get people fit in 30 days and then unfit in the next 30. So people, like a lot of the guys have done from the August Glow Lean Challenge, which was 10 days, just continue on with their results. Continue to work. And hopefully these are the type of lessons that are helping do that via TGIM. So the next segment of goals obviously is I've just written life, and that was those 6 areas. So once again, physical, mental, social, spiritual, financial, and family. What do you guys want to do in those areas? Have you even thought about what you want to do in those areas? Because once again, if you don't have the direction, you're not going to be able to actually achieve it. If you don't know what you want, you're going to be like a ship sailing around off the harbour. There's no lighthouse. You don't know where you're going. You're going to end up back out at sea. Yeah? So it's really important. Really important. So have a think about that. It's worth doing. It's worth writing those down. What do you want physically? What do you want mentally? I'm telling you guys, I'd be writing a list of real good books. and start reading, or start getting the audio going through your head. It'll change everything for you. Social. Who am I hanging out with? How often? Do you want to spend more time with your friends? You know, when I started to do personal development, my old friends I didn't want to spend any time with. I realised they were negative bums. I wanted to hang around my friends that were successful, because you come to the sum total of the 5 people that you hang around the most. You've got to be really selective. You want to be successful, hang around successful people. If you don't, then don't. I guess that falls in the financial as well. How's the long-term look for you and your family? Is it a good thing? You know, and the whole reason when I looked at Herbalife, and I had it when I started to do personal development, you know, the first 12 months, we're kind of just mucking around with this, really. And the whole reason I chose, and this is my vehicle, I can't speak for you guys, but this is for me. The whole reason I chose Herbalife is because when you draw the circle and you got the 6 areas of pie, Herbalife in the middle can actually help you achieve it all. You know, physically, tick, obvious reasons. Mentally, tick. We train people how to do personal development, how to set goals, all this stuff, tick. Social, you hang around a better person and people who are goal-driven, tick. Spiritual, helping people achieve their goals. That fills my cup. I can't talk for you guys, but you know, if you're into religion or whatever it is, that you can set those goals for yourself. Financial, obviously, it's had an effect. Chick, and family. You know, the whole reason why I started Herbalife is twofold. Number one is I wanted to have something I could actually will down to my kids. So my kids are going to inherit a business that turns over about. By then, hopefully I don't die tomorrow, but by then, you know, $500,000 a month. That's game breaking for your family, right? So that was one of the reasons. And the other reason was because it's royalty based income, you can do what you want. So you got more time to spend time with the people that you love. So that was the other reason. So they're like a snapshot of why I chose that. But what I'm suggesting to you guys is whatever that vehicle is for you, just find it. Pretty straightforward, right? Or don't be closed off to looking would be the other advice, because there's nothing more broke than a closed mind. Nothing. So that's something to write down. So I've got on here as well, in relation to your goals and being able to achieve them, it's two things as well. Association. Hang around people on the same path with the same type of goals as you, trying to achieve results or whatever it is in the challenge. Make sure that we're hanging around these people, because they're going to inspire you when you're having your rough days, because you will. Because if you've got a worthwhile goals, it doesn't look like a straight, you know, you're not walking toward like a straight line towards your goal. It's more like this, right? Like, you have your bad days, you have your good days. It's reflective in Herbalife business as well. You have your great days and you have bad days. But what you find is your new lows were your old highs. It's the same with your physical transformation. If you're learning and educating yourself about how to eat, a new bad day will be like a good day for the old you. I'm sure some of you guys can relate to that. Because my bad days used to be shit. And now I have like a bad meal and I'm like, oh my God, I threw that in the bin today. You know what I mean? Like it's a different kind of standard that you set yourself. So association is really important. Stop hanging around people that are negative and bringing you down. I've told you guys the yabby theory before. Everyone knows what a yabby is. It's like those little things that look like lobsters, but they're in fresh water. Whitney knows what I'm talking about. When you go yabbying, I grew up in the country, you don't actually have to put a lid on the bucket. They try to crawl out and the yabbies grab it and pull them down. So don't hang around with yabbies. Is the rule. And number 2 is reflecting. So there's no point having goals if we're not going to reflect on them. And you don't have to sit there for an hour and reflect on your goals. Maybe at the end of the year might be a good idea, but not every day. I'd definitely overlook my list at the end of every day and say, okay, how can I do today better tomorrow? Because if you're evolving like that, even if they're little tweaks every single day and you're just refining your day and refining and getting better and getting better and getting better and getting better, if you get 0.003 better every day, you're a new person in each year. And how can your life not get better if you're developing, you know, like times 2, and then imagine you in a decade times 10. Just going to attract what you want into your life. And that's what's going to happen. So that's TGIM. We wanted to go through goal setting. If anyone has a question, now's the time. Does anyone here have a question? Pretty straightforward. So what are we going to do what are we going to do tomorrow? Yay, write a list and set goals. That's good. If you need help with that, yell out, yeah? Anyone got a question here? No. Cool. All right, guys, if you do, just fire them in the comments bit of the link on the group, and then everyone can see and everyone can benefit from your courage to ask a question. Yeah? Cool. That's TGIM, guys. Thanks for listening. Woo!